Coming up on today's video.
Rather dapper when they're on.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another Magical Moon video. We're out in Vera and we are hunting down these elusive rugs. We have a stable rug and an outdoor rug which we purchased from a specialist company back in the UK for the one and only Thomas, because he's very, as you know, very large. So we've got some specially tailored rugs for him. But we haven't been able to track them down. We've had lots of emails, we've had to's and fro's from all sorts of places, but we're now at the UPS depot and I'm hoping when I go in, I come back with the goodies. The eagle has landed. Here they are, we have them. Don't think we're going to miss him in the field. They're very bright in colour, but it's exactly what we ordered. So fingers crossed, but I think he's going to look fantastic. Best laid plans and all that. I've just been special moved by Max, faster than any quarterback. Gonna go gather him up and pop him back where he needs to be, but here it's all pretty live and let live, and Max is definitely getting the feel for that.
Okay, so we're home from our, well, it was like a treasure hunt, wasn't it, trying to find those rugs. It's taken weeks to actually get them here and we can't wait to model them on him, but unfortunately it's a bit warm at the moment, so he's not quite ready, but I think he's going to look rather dapper when they're on.
It won't be too long, and as we said before, we're not going to miss him because they are quite bright and colourful, but yeah, we look forward to that. In the meantime, there's a new development.
There is indeed. As you have seen, Ginger has snuck her way back into the Legends barn, and that is because she got Mum was here and I noticed a little cut on her leg, and given her age, she's 28 years old, she was doing really, really well outside, but I was just a bit concerned that leaving her out with a cut and sort of not fending for herself, because we were down there with the old pseudo cream, like, as you know, it's our favourite for ailments, but it was just a little bit, it was slightly large and I wasn't quite comfortable. So the vet came out, it's been treated, she's on some antibiotics, and yeah, she's having to stay in for a bit. Not that she's very happy because she is screaming continuously, and bless her, Mum came out to stay and Ginger kept everyone awake for the entire, well, 10 days that Mum was here. But she's okay, and she's
She's settled into it now.
She has indeed, and she's loving the carrots again.
And the other spin-off is that Staz, who has been over the years, he has a condition called navicular, which affects the bones in the front of their feet, so it makes them quite tender, and a little bit of exercise is good, a little bit of movement's always good. And he'd gone wandering off, when he free ranges with Epilan and Max, he'd gone wandering off down the bottom, and he'd been calling to the new herd that we made with Nevada and with Dilly and with Athos and obviously Nanny. Now, it just made sense that he was down there talking to them, that we just see if he could spend a bit of time out with them, because that would mean he could just keep moving all the time. And while we're giving Ginger a little bit of intensive care, it's always good to change it up. So you're going to see later on in the video just how that worked out. But I think it's going to be a really good mix, and it's going to be really good for him. So everyone's happy.
They are indeed. So I think the donkeys are calling. All I can hear is screaming donkey. I think we'd best go. We've obviously not done something right, so we're going to go and check them out. But yeah, the next part of the video you're going to see is the wonderful Staz looking mighty fine, cantering through the field and meeting his new friends. For the time being, he'll probably have to come in over winter, but we'll just see how he fares. And as you can see, Ginger's very happy to be eating the carrots. So.
And it's always about changing it up, because the weather is so variable, and when we get these breaks in the weather where it is very mild, those beautiful autumnal days, just need to take advantage of it. And if we can change things up and make things better for them, it can only be a good thing.
You know what this means? We've got 2 spare stables now.
Moving on.
So that was slightly nerve-wracking but beautiful to see, and as you can see, Staz seems to be settling in quite well. But he has spent a life before coming to us on his own, because he was a stallion, hence the name Staz. He was gelded here, and he, he's had a life, and he's obviously been out and mixed with other horses. But in a herd environment, he could be a little bit of a controlling character, just like Cantho Zed. But he doesn't seem to have that about him. But that said, we do need to monitor him at the moment and watch what happens, because he is out with ladies and he is out with dear Athos, bless him. And we're hoping they're going to pair up, and they seem to have shown a bit of a sign that they're going to. But that, with Staz, he's probably going to need a rug if it starts to get colder, and he might not need that little bit of top up of food as well. So they're all individual here, but we're trying to keep him mobile and keep him moving, because that navicular and arthritis is sort of setting in as he's getting older, and the best thing for him to do is just keep moving, and stabling him isn't helping him at the moment. So He is on pain relief, he does have glucosamine, he has all the different things that he can have to help him, but we have noticed over the last few months that he's just struggling a bit, so we're hoping this might be the right way forward. We're sitting with the BFG, and a lot of you have asked this question, and Nick is going to answer it.
Well, yes, as Jenny said, as you all know, there's nothing better than a good old walk, a brisk march out. And BFG is just going to get that in a minute. You'll see. I'm going to take him for a little walk. Then he's going to have a pick at grass, and we're just going to give him a bit of controlled exercise. And that's the other thing. They're all, you know, catered for in different ways, and he needs that controlled exercise because he does have a very large historical injury. That's why he was retired to us here at Legacy of Legends. But that doesn't stop him being able to be active and have his own care plan. But it is very important that, you know, some of you have asked, why can't he go out with the herd? Well, the reason is, and I think Marek, his old owner, summed it up beautifully when I was talking to him initially before we got the BFG. He said, oh, you know, he's not just going to be turned out like wilded. He's not just going to be let out because he's used to being, you know, in the stable, and he's more domesticated. I said, no, they all, you know, if they need to, the horses that do, and he does, they come in, they have their, you know, they're washed and have their rugs changed, if they need bandaging or whatever. So it's very similar to that very intensive lifestyle that he was used to when he was a competition horse. And we need to obviously wean little bits of that out of him so he can enjoy his retirement. But more importantly, we can't just let him go loose because he could do himself a very nasty injury on top of what he's already got, and that's the reason why he's in the Legends barn, and he has those controlled exercises. And some of you might have seen me riding him out, so when he's well enough and when his leg stabilizes and he's comfortable, I occasionally take him out for a little jaunt round the block. Very, very privileged to be able to ride a beautiful horse like him. So we're just going to take him out now. We're going to give him a pick at grass so you can join us on that. And we're going to catch up with a few more of the fluffies.
Let's go.
So the BFG is out, he's with Tintin in his little field, and it is controlled hand grazing and controlled turnout, and that's really, really important. And along with all the other guys, they kind of just get along with it. We've got the beautiful Poitou princesses behind me, and you can see they're enjoying their little area. They can always go in and out of their stable as they please because, as we said before, we separated them. But they seem to be putting on, as I said, that much needed condition. We've got the other guys down the bottom who are going to catch up just before the end of this video. But you can see over in the background we've got the lovely Captain Jack Sparrow with Cantho Z, a former stallion, and Captain Jack Sparrow, a former stallion, both living their best life. And behind them the legend that is Thomas. So it just goes to show, with a bit of love, a bit of care and a little bit of planning, what is possible. you might have to blink twice. It isn't Tiny Tim or Turbo Tim or even Tyson Tim. It is the lovely Eeyore, and he's out with Peggy and Pip. And he's just finding his way because he's now in those, I like to think of a bit of a teenager, just romping about, exploring new boundaries and new horizons with his friends. His mum's nursing Tiny Tim and they're in those early days, but it won't be long, and I think very soon they'll all be reunited. But in the meantime, he's got his true trusty companions beside him. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you all so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for telling all your friends. Stay magical, and we'll see you next time. Oh, he's a little baby now.